The Giants can't stop talking about Shedeur Sanders, and Shedeur can't stop talking about the New York Football Giants. Where there is smoke, there is fire. The question is there too much smoke? Shedeur Sanders at Radio Row spoke about his relationship with Brian Daboll and the DAP that was heard around the world. We'll break that down in a second. First, I want to hear from you, though. Let's say draft day is here, and the Giants are on the clock at pick number 3. And Cam Ward goes number 1 to the Titans, and Abdul Carter goes number 2 to the Cleveland Browns, and the Giants are on the clock. Sanders is there. Hunter is there. Which one of these Colorado Buffaloes would you pick? Type SS, type TH. I want to hear from all of the real ones down in the comment section right now. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Let's get it on. Shedeur Sanders, Brian Daboll. Seems like a match made in heaven, and it is obvious at this point. The Giants love Shedeur, and Shedeur, he loves the Giants. And it sounds like Shedeur would love to play for head coach Brian Daboll. He sat down with the DNVR Buffs podcast at Radio Row, and they asked him about the DAP that everyone heard at the East-West Shrine Bowl. And he said this: "We ain't practice it." But he does got a different kind of swagger about him too, though. He was cool, though. He was down to earth. He understands kind of how I am and who I am. And I understood him also. As long as everybody goes into a situation where I'm not going to believe anything I see online mutually, then it'll be a good relationship, you know? But if you go into a relationship with all of these preconceived thoughts, it's never going to work. So you have to go into everything genuine and let people show you who they are. And to me, Coach Daboll, he's a great guy, great coach. And he's definitely a man of his family. So I like Coach for sure. Daboll is the ultimate player's coach. We know that. Josh Allen and Brian Daboll were best friends. They used to hang out. Allen used to just kick it at Daboll's house, and they used to crush beers on the weekend. Yeah, of course, any quarterback would love to play for Brian Daboll. And Daboll wants to be that swaggy head coach. He's always wearing his J's. He's always got some fresh Ray-Bans on. He's always chilling with the players and showing love. And he is someone that has really gotten to where he is, obviously because he's a great coach, but he can relate to all of these young athletes and really who they are as people. And I think Daboll cares about people, players as people, and that goes a long way for a locker room. I really do believe that Shedeur Sanders and Brian Daboll are a good marriage, and I would even go as far as to say a great marriage. Shedeur needs someone that understands him, someone that's not going to judge him off all of these Instagram commenters about how he's a terrible person and he cares more about rapping and he doesn't love football. Brian Daboll knows he's a good football player, and Brian Daboll knows he's a quarterback, and it might just be Shedeur Sanders. Joe Shane actually spoke about Shedeur and what they did, and because they did meet at the East-West Shrine Bowl, and Joey, he said this: he's a great kid, really good personality, football smart. Dad's a football coach. It's a little bit cliche, but he checks all the boxes of having a dad that's a football coach and the passion that he approaches the game with. It was good getting that meeting. He's had a really good career in Colorado. And obviously, I look forward to getting to know all of those guys the rest of the way. We've done a pretty good job, I would say, on this channel following the Shedeur Sanders sweepstakes with the New York Football Giants. And we're going to recap every step of the way here on today's show. And I do believe there are things like smoke screens during the NFL draft process and going about trying to convince teams this while you go and do this. Look here while I go over here. And I have to ask myself, is there too much smoke? Like, there's smoke, and where there's smoke, there's fire. But is there too much smoke about Shedeur Sanders and Big Blue? Do you think the Giants draft Shedeur? What do you think? Number 3, Giants are on the clock. He's on the board. Does Shedeur put on that Giants hat, go out there with his bust-down AP? Perfect timing. Type Y for yes. Type N for no. I'll tell you more about why there might be too much smoke, and we're going to tell you why the Giants are following around Shedeur Sanders like a lost puppy. But first, I got to tell you about our proud sponsor, Game Time, the best ticketing app in the market. So if you're looking to go buy tickets to a game or a concert or a theater event coming up, the best place to do it is with Game Time. I know the Giants season is over, but you can go watch the Knicks, and they are cooking. They've got some games coming up at the Garden. So Go to a Knicks game and use the promo code ChatSports, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. Things that I love about Game Time. One, lowest price guaranteed. I love to save some money. And I love that the app is super user-friendly. You get to see your view from the seats inside the app, so it's easy to decide which tickets you want. And last-minute tickets. I'm a procrastinator, and I don't want to have to spend money until I absolutely have to. So download the app, create an account, use that promo code ChatSports. That's ChatSports, and get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. Use that all-in pricing feature. That way the price you see is the price you pay. And use that Game Time Picks feature. That way you are guaranteed, locked in, to get the best deal for the best seats. Download the app, create an account, promo code ChatSports. $20 in your pocket when you use the promo code ChatSports. All right, let's go back to January 25th. Because, look, there was smoke before this. Trust me, we're going to get to all of that. But I do want to talk about this right here. Jordan on. The Giants, and specifically Coach Brian Daboll, spent significant time yesterday. Not yesterday. That would be the 24th of January. Yesterday morning, meeting with Shedeur Sanders. The Colorado quarterback is participating in the East-West Shrine Bowl this week, and Shedeur could be an option at number 3. I had heard the meeting went really well, and there are multiple Giants beat reporters that have reported that he might have won over Brian Daboll in that meeting. Let's go picture by picture here, because I feel like pictures, they tell a really good story. And here's Brian Daboll and Joe Shane and Brandon Brown and Shedeur Sanders meeting at the hotel, motel, Holiday Inn, hanging out with Shedeur Sanders at the Senior Bowl. You know what? I'm not going to make much of that. Just 2 coaches and a general manager looking to talk to maybe a future quarterback. And then you see Brian Daboll and Shedeur Sanders chatting it up on the football field, right? Nothing to make of this either. But this is something to make of it. The crispiest dap I have ever heard in my life. Brian Daboll gives Shedeur Sanders a little chin up. Sup, bro? And then Shedeur's like, what's up, my guy? And crispy. When you get one of those good daps, it's magical. And that is where this relationship, I feel like, really started to put that rocket pack on and start to go to the moon. But it goes way, way before this. Remember back in October and November where we talked about this? Joe Shane, Brandon Brown, Jesse Armstead, Tim McDonald making the trip out to Boulder, Colorado to go watch a practice. Yeah, to go watch a practice. I'm sure they didn't talk to Shedeur Sanders there at all. Maybe just Dion. I don't know. Maybe nothing to make of this, but I think it is pretty interesting that, your front office has gone about going to see what is going on in Colorado as they continue to look at quarterbacks. We also know that Joe Shane went to not 1, not 2, but 3 Colorado football games this year. He went to the game versus North Dakota State. He went to the game versus Utah, and he went to the BYU game. He also had staff members go to the UCF games. That's 4 games. And they apparently have already taken 2 trips to Colorado this year. And I heard they took a trip out to Colorado in the spring. Remember when Mike Garafolo said this? You can tell that there's definitely some interest in the Giants and Shedeur Sanders. Would they take him ahead of Cam Ward and all that? We're going to figure all of that out before April. But at the very least, they were impressed with him. So Mike Garafolo said this right after he was seen in Mobile, Alabama, talking to Joe Shane. Shout out to Justin Pennick at Talking Giants. Awesome dude, makes awesome content. He posted this video, and I just grabbed the picture from it. So shout out to Justin Pennick, shout out to Bobby, shout out to Talking Giants. Go give them some love. Shout out to them. Awesome stuff at the Senior Bowl. But look, you have Mike Garafolo talking to Joe Shane. Then Mike Garafolo goes out and says the Giants are interested in him. But even before that, Jordan Renan reported this. There was a belief during the season that they were high on Shedeur Sanders. So you got Mike Garafolo, you got Jordan Renan, and you got Brian Daboll and Shedeur Sanders pretty much just telling them that they love each other. What about Connor Hughes of SNY saying this? The talk around league circles has been Sanders about who is the number 1 QB on the Giants draft board. It's been that way since before the season started. The Giants actually had a completed report on Sanders ready if he declared for the 2024 NFL draft. He would have been a target in the 2nd or 3rd round for Big Blue. And then Shedeur Sanders said that he was going to be wearing cleats that were inspired by the team that was going to draft him in the NFL draft in his bowl game. And that looks like red, and that looks like blue, and that looks like a New York Giants logo. And, oh, yeah, that is Shedeur Sanders' locker. But even before that, remember at the Heisman Trophy ceremony, we had Malik Neighbors and Shedeur Sanders kicking it, hanging out, and they even walked down in front of the bodega in the New York City streets, tossing the pigskin. a little bit. Probably nothing to make of that either, right? Just two young guys hanging out, throwing the ball together, getting to know each other, right? No way, no how. Definitely not anything to read into that. I mean, there's only been about 55 instances already where the Giants and Shedeur Sanders have essentially flirted with each other like it was 7th grade and it was a passing period in between classes. And then you see Shedeur Sanders just walking around New York City with a Giants football. Now, how did he get that? Did he break in a 1925 Giants drive and steal that football? No. Someone from the Giants, maybe Malik Neighbors, gave it to him. And there's no way that Deion Sanders already has told the media that the Giants would pick Shedeur Sanders number 1 overall, right? Oh, wait, he might have done that. Remember on the Pac-Man Jones show where Pac-Man said, the Raiders got to slide up to get the number 1 pick. And Deion was like, do they have to slide? And Pac-Man was like, well, they're number 2 right now. And Deion was like, well, who's number 1? And Pac-Man said, I think the Giants are at number 1. That was when the Giants held number 1 pick before they had a big culture win against the Colts in Week 17. Deion then said the Giants are not going to give up that pick. They are not going to give up that pick. I know that for a fact. Pac-Man says if the Giants have the number 1 pick, who is the number 1 pick? And Deion said Shedeur is going to be the number 1 pick. I think Shedeur Sanders is the Giants QB1. I mean, I love this game. I love it. I love it. Keep on doing it, Shedeur. Keep on doing it, Sanders Camp. I love following the trail. I love reading the tea leaves. And where there is smoke, there is fire. But I do remember a young Marsh in 2024 thought the Giants loved J.J. McCarthy because they did a lot of work on him, like a private workout. And they flew to Ann Arbor, Michigan on Easter Sunday to have another private workout with J.J. McCarthy. So maybe it is just a smokescreen. And maybe this, J.J. McCarthy, was a smokescreen. And maybe there is too much smoke here. Maybe there's too much smoke for it to even be a smokescreen. I don't know. We just showed you about 15 instances of Shedeur Sanders and the Giants. I like you. I like you too. Like, it's ridiculous. Long way to go. Long way to go to the draft. But if I had to say today, if Shedeur Sanders is on the board when the Giants are on the clock, I am 99.9% sure he's going to be a New York Football Giant. We'll find out, though. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on IG at @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up, and let's go Big Blue.